All right, today we're diving into one of prehistory's greatest mysteries, the secret of salt. I know, it sounds simple, right? We take it for granted, but for our ancestors, this stuff was the key to absolutely everything. So how did they find it? Was it just blind luck, or did they have a little help?
We're going to have to go way, way back for this one. We're talking at nearly 4 million years into our past. This is a time when our ancestors were definitely not the top of the food chain. No, they were just struggling, day in and day out, to survive. And to really get it, you have to understand the enormous challenge they were up against. So let's set the stage here. The first piece of this puzzle is a life or death problem our ancestors faced every single day.
And this wasn't just, some minor inconvenience. This was a crisis baked into their very environment. I want you to picture the African Rift Valley, a world filled with massive predators, where our ancestors were small, they were vulnerable, and they were constantly on the move. Their entire life was this raw, gritty reality of finding water and foraging with their bare hands. And then there was the heat, a searing, relentless 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Just think about that. In that kind of brutal climate, your body is constantly fighting a losing battle, sweating out the one single mineral it desperately needs just to function. And the effects of losing that mineral, sodium, salt, are absolutely devastating. We're not just talking about feeling a little tired. No, this triggers a total cascade of system failures. Your muscles seize up, your heart starts racing from pure exhaustion. And maybe most terrifying of all, your brain itself actually begins to shut down.
Let's be blunt about it. This was a death sentence. Without a reliable source of salt to replace what they were losing every minute of every day, our ancestors simply could not have survived on the savanna. The whole human story might have just ended right then and there.
So how did they solve this impossible puzzle? Well, the most common scientific theory, it suggests it was really just a matter of survival instinct and, a little bit of luck. The conventional wisdom, right, is that while they were desperately searching for water, some group of early hominids came across a dried-up lake bed, and right there, just shimmering on the surface, were these white mineral crusts. So through trial and error, they tasted it, felt the incredible effects, and made the connection. It's a pretty logical theory, makes sense, but some researchers are starting to ask, was it really that simple? Was it just a lucky break, or is there maybe another possibility? And this is where it gets really interesting. This brings us to a much more provocative and frankly fascinating theory, one that really challenges that whole idea of a simple, accidental discovery. This is where we get into some really cool speculative history with this amazing what-if question. What if our ancestors, literally on the brink of collapse, didn't just stumble upon the solution by chance? What if they were guided? I mean, just imagine it. A tribe, completely exhausted, probably lost, and they're led to a shimmering salt flat by a figure that just doesn't belong in their world. This theory basically poses that the secret of the white stone wasn't discovered at all, it was shared. So, what we have here are two totally different possibilities. On one hand, you've got natural discovery, pure instinct, trial and error, the ultimate prehistoric life hack. And on the other, you have a celestial gift, a guided intervention, a taught secret, a shared technology that may have saved our entire species. But here's the thing, and this is so important. Regardless of how they discovered it, the impact was nothing short of a revolution. It set off a chain reaction that would literally change everything about our future. The second they tasted that salt, this incredible chain reaction began. First, their energy just comes flooding back almost instantly. Then they learn it can preserve meat, that's a monumental leap, a total game changer. This meant they could store food, which allowed them to travel farther than ever before, exploring new territories, escaping harsh conditions. It unlocked our potential to evolve, and to evolve faster. And let's be super clear here, this was never about making food taste better. No, this was about unlocking the ability to sweat, to run farther, to endure, and to push the boundaries of their known world. Salt became the fuel for our survival, and ultimately for human expansion across the entire planet. One source describes this just beautifully, calling it the genetic alteration of human potential. That is how profound this discovery was.
Salt didn't change our DNA, of course not, but it fundamentally altered what our species was capable of achieving. It put us on a completely new evolutionary path. Which brings us right back to where we started. We've got two very different stories for how this revolutionary discovery was made, both leading to one incredible outcome for all of humanity.
So, what do you think? Was the secret of salt the ultimate prehistoric life hack, just figured out through sheer will and desperation? Or did our ancestors get a little leg up from a mysterious, maybe otherworldly guide? The real answer is lost to time, but wow, what a fascinating question. And it sits right at the very foundation of our own survival story.